My girlfriend said, "I can't help family because I pay my own bills and believe in financial independence," when her sister needed money. I said, "That's interesting since you've never paid a bill here." When I showed her family the receipts proving I pay for everything while she claims to pay half, she begged me not to ruin her reputation. She had no idea her independence was about to cost her everything. I'm Ethan, 29, and I just learned the hard way that there's a difference between supporting someone you love and enabling someone who takes credit for your support. Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. I'm standing in my kitchen listening to Maya tell her crying sister over speakerphone, "Emma, I wish I could help, but I pay my own bills and believe in financial independence. You need to handle your own responsibilities." For 10 months, I'd been proud of Maya's financial independence. I thought I was dating a strong, self-sufficient woman who'd gotten her life together. Turns out, I was just funding the performance. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me explain how I became the kind of guy who would enable someone for almost a year without realizing it. Growing up in a blue-collar family in Ohio, helping each other wasn't optional, it was survival. When Dad got laid off from the auto plant in 2008, Uncle Mike didn't hesitate to let our family of 4 move into his 3-bedroom house for 8 months. 3 adults, 4 kids, 1 bathroom, and nobody complained because that's what family did. When my cousin Jake needed $3,000 for community college tuition, the whole extended family chipped in. $20 here, $50 there, until Jake had enough to enroll. When Grandpa's diabetes got bad and he needed daily care, we all took shifts. Mom would go Mondays and Wednesdays, Aunt Sarah took Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'd cover weekends. That's just how we operated. You helped because you could, not because you expected recognition or payback. Family meant something more than blood, it meant showing up when people needed you. Grandpa used to say, "Money comes and goes, but family is forever." Take care of each other and everything else works out. When he died at 87 and left me his house, I felt the weight of that responsibility. The house had been his pride, a 1950s 3-bedroom that he'd bought with his factory wages and maintained meticulously for 40 years. Every board, every fixture, every improvement had been done with his own hands. His will included a handwritten note. "Ethan, this house gave our family security when we needed it most. Use it to help others the way it helped us. That's what homes are for." At 25, suddenly owning a house outright felt surreal. No mortgage, just property taxes and utilities. My software consulting job paid well enough to cover everything comfortably. I had space, stability, and a family legacy to uphold. When I met Maya 10 months ago at a work conference, she seemed like exactly the kind of person who'd appreciate that legacy. She was struggling as a retail supervisor, barely making ends meet in a $1,200 studio apartment, but she had dreams. Marketing degree, career ambitions, just needed the right opportunity. Our first few dates, Maya talked about wanting to be financially independent, never wanting to depend on anyone, building her own success. Coming from my family background, I respected that drive. Independence was admirable, and I wanted to support someone who shared those values. After 2 months of dating, Maya mentioned she was stressed about rent increases. Her landlord was raising her studio to $1,400, money she didn't have. "I might have to move back with my parents," she said, clearly embarrassed. At 26, that feels like such a failure. I understood that feeling. Nobody wants to move backward. "What if you moved in with me temporarily?" I offered. "Just until you get on your feet, I have plenty of space." Maya's eyes lit up, then clouded with concern. "I couldn't do that. I don't want to be a burden or take advantage." "You wouldn't be. The house is paid off. Having you there wouldn't cost me anything extra, and it would help you save money to build your future." "Just temporarily," she insisted, "until I find something better or get a raise." Maya moved in on a Friday in March. That weekend, she helped me organize closets, cooked dinner, made the place feel warmer somehow. It felt like the beginning of building something real together. "I want to contribute something," she said Sunday night, trying to hand me $300 cash. I pushed her hand away gently. "Save that money, build an emergency fund, pay down debt, invest in yourself. When you're financially stable, we'll figure out a fair arrangement." Maya teared up. "I've never met a man who cared more about my success than what I could give him. Most guys would just take the money. I felt proud. This was how relationships should work, partners supporting each other's growth, not keeping score. Besides, I added, my grandfather built this house to help family. You're becoming family. Within a month, Maya felt like she'd always lived there. She rearranged furniture, added her touches, made it our space instead of just my space. I loved seeing her comfortable and happy. When Maya landed her marketing assistant job with a $45,000 salary, we celebrated at the nicest restaurant in town. She was glowing with excitement about finally being able to contribute equally to our household. I was excited too, not because I needed her money, but because it meant she was achieving her goals. "So what's fair?" she asked over dessert. "I should pay half of everything, right?" I calculated quickly. Property taxes averaged $300 monthly, utilities around $200, groceries about $400, household expenses maybe $200. That would be about $550 a month, I said. Maya's face fell slightly. That's more than I was thinking. What if I start with $300 and work up to more? Whatever works for you, I said quickly. I'm not in a hurry. Build your savings first. But when her first paycheck came, Maya had a different plan. I've been researching financial advice online, she explained. The experts say you should eliminate high-interest debt before taking on new expenses. My credit cards are at 22% interest. That made perfect sense. Credit card debt was expensive. Better to eliminate that first. Smart thinking, I agreed. Pay those off, then we'll revisit. 2 months later. I want to build a 6-month emergency fund before committing to higher expenses. Dave Ramsey says that's step 1 to financial security. Again, completely logical. Emergency funds were important. 3 months later, I'm maximizing my 401k match this year. It's free money I can't pass up. But after that, I'll definitely start contributing more here. Each excuse sounded responsible, mature, exactly what a financially savvy person should prioritize. I supported every decision because I wanted Maya to succeed financially. Meanwhile, I continued paying all utilities, groceries, property taxes, insurance, internet streaming services. When Maya was temporarily tight some months, I'd cover her car payment too. But I didn't mind. We were building a life together. When you love someone, you support their financial growth, even if it means carrying more of the load temporarily. What I started noticing, though, was how Maya talked about our arrangement to others. At Maya's friend Jessica's birthday party, the conversation turned to relationships and money. Jessica complained about her boyfriend not contributing enough to their shared expenses. "That's so unfair," Maya said. "I could never be with someone who didn't support my independence. I pay my own bills and contribute equally to our household. Ethan knows I'm not looking for a handout." I was standing right there, glass of beer halfway to my lips, processing what she'd just said. Pay her own bills, contribute equally. "That's amazing," Jessica replied. "I wish Tom understood that equality matters." "It's just basic adulting," Maya continued. "You work, you pay your share, you don't depend on your partner financially. That's the only way to have a healthy relationship." I didn't correct her in front of her friends, but that night I brought it up privately. "Earlier tonight, you told Jessica you contribute equally to our household expenses." Maya looked defensive. "I meant emotionally. I contribute equally emotionally." But Jessica was talking about money specifically, about paying bills. "I know, but I didn't want to get into our private financial arrangement at a party." That made sense. I wouldn't want to discuss personal finances publicly either, but Maya's public comments about financial independence continued. At her family barbecue, when her cousin complained about struggling with rent, Maya offered advice. "You need to learn to budget better and build savings. I pay half of everything with my boyfriend and we're doing great financially." Her mom beamed with pride. Maya's become so responsible. Splitting everything equally like real partners. I was sitting right there, eating potato salad Maya's mom had made, while Maya accepted praise for financial responsibility that didn't exist. Maya's social media told the same story. Instagram posts from our kitchen with captions like, "Nothing beats the satisfaction of building your own success, and financial independence is the best feeling." The comments were full of praise. "You're such an inspiration. Independent woman goals. Love seeing women who don't need men to support them." Maya never corrected those interpretations, never clarified that she wasn't actually paying for the lifestyle she was posting about. I started feeling uncomfortable, but I told myself Maya was just building confidence. She'd struggled financially for years before meeting me. Maybe claiming independence publicly was her way of processing her new stability. I convinced myself that supporting her emotional growth was more important than demanding credit for my financial contributions. I was wrong. The turning point came 6 months ago when Maya's advice to friends became judgmental. Her friend Sarah was dating someone who'd been unemployed for 3 months despite applying everywhere. Sarah was helping with his rent while he job hunted. Maybe I should help him out this month, Sarah said, just until he finds something. Maya's response was ice cold. Sarah, don't enable his poor planning. Real men take care of their own responsibilities. If you bail him out, he'll never learn to stand on his own. I sat there uncomfortable, watching Maya criticize someone for accepting the same support she'd been taking from me for 6 months. Sometimes good people just need temporary help during tough times, I said carefully. Maya rolled her eyes. That's different. That's choosing to help someone responsible. I'm talking about enabling someone who's not handling their responsibilities. How do you know he's not responsible? Unemployment happens to good people. Because responsible people have emergency funds, they plan for setbacks. They don't expect their girlfriends to cover their bills. The irony was stunning. Maya was lecturing about emergency funds while building hers with money she saved by not paying any household expenses. When Sarah's boyfriend finally found work and paid Sarah back, Maya shook her head. She's lucky it worked out. But she shouldn't have enabled him in the first place. That pattern continued over months. Maya judging friends for financial struggles, for accepting help from partners, for any arrangement that wasn't complete independence. I just believe people should take care of themselves, she'd say. I work hard for my money and pay my own bills. Everyone should. Each time, I felt more uncomfortable. Maya was building her identity around independence she didn't actually have while I enabled the illusion. Her friend Emma was living with her parents to save money for a house down payment. Maya called it pathetic for a 27-year-old. Her coworker Lisa's boyfriend helped with her student loan payments. Maya said it was setting a bad precedent and not real love. Her neighbor got help from family when his business struggled. Maya called it enabling failure instead of teaching responsibility. Every judgment stung because Maya was criticizing people for needing the same support I'd been giving her for 8 months. But I loved her, and I thought supporting someone you love was the right thing to do, even if they didn't acknowledge that support publicly. I told myself Maya would start contributing more when she felt completely secure. That her public confidence was just her way of feeling empowered after years of financial struggle. I convinced myself that demanding credit for my support would be petty and controlling. I was enabling more than I realized. The final wake-up call came last week with Maya's sister Emma. Emma's 23, works 2 jobs: receptionist at a dental office during the day, server at a restaurant 3 nights a week. She's raising 4-year-old Sophie alone after Sophie's father disappeared when the pregnancy test came back positive. Emma lives in a tiny 1-bedroom apartment, drives a 2008 Honda with 200,000 miles, shops at thrift stores and clips coupons. She's been struggling but proud, never asking family for help, determined to make it on her own. Wednesday morning, Emma's car died in the grocery store parking lot. Transmission failure. The mechanic said $800 to fix it, or $300 for a used transmission that might last 6 months. Without a car, Emma couldn't get to either job. Public transit in their town is practically non-existent. She'd lose both jobs within days, then lose her apartment, then face potentially losing custody of Sophie. She called Maya crying, desperate, asking if she could borrow $800 just until she got her next paycheck. Maya's response shattered every illusion I'd been maintaining about our relationship. Emma, I've worked really hard to build my financial independence. I can't enable your poor planning. You should have saved for car emergencies. I listened in shock as Maya lectured her sister, a single mother working 2 jobs to support a child alone, about financial responsibility. I pay my own bills and handle my own responsibilities, Maya continued coldly. You need to do the same. Maybe this will teach you to plan better for emergencies. Maya, I've been saving, Emma sobbed. But Sophie needed new clothes for preschool, and day care costs went up, and I was going to have emergency money next month. That's exactly what I mean about planning. I prioritize my financial security, which is why I can afford my lifestyle. You should do the same. Emma hung up crying. I stared at Maya, seeing her clearly for the first time in 10 months. You're really not going to help your sister. I believe in teaching responsibility. If I bail her out, she'll never learn financial planning. She's not asking for a bailout. She's asking family for help during a genuine crisis. Family doesn't mean enabling poor financial choices. That's when everything clicked into place. Maya was lecturing her struggling sister about financial independence while I had been bankrolling Maya's entire independent lifestyle for 10 months. That's interesting, I said quietly, since you've never paid a bill here. Maya's face froze. What do you mean? I mean you just lectured Emma about paying her own bills and financial planning while you've contributed exactly nothing to our shared expenses. That's different. We're partners. So why isn't Emma, your sister raising a child alone with 2 jobs, deserving of the same partnership you expect from me? I could see Maya's brain working frantically, trying to find a way to make the double standard make sense. She couldn't. How much exactly do you think you contribute to our monthly household expenses? I asked. I contribute in other ways, emotionally, domestically. Name one bill you've paid in the last 6 months. Silence. Maya, in 10 months of living here, you've paid exactly $0 toward utilities, groceries, property taxes, insurance, or any household expense. Meanwhile, you just refuse to help Emma with $800 because you pay your own bills and believe in financial independence. The excuses started flowing. You offered to help. I never asked you to pay for everything. I was planning to start contributing more once I felt financially secure. But I wasn't hearing excuses anymore. I was seeing the truth I'd been blind to for months. I'd been enabling Maya to build a fake identity around independence she didn't have, while she used that fake identity to judge others, including her own struggling family, for needing the same help I'd been giving her. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. Let's look at the actual numbers, Maya. I showed her my Venmo history, 0 payments from Maya ever. My bank statements showing grocery bills, utility payments, property tax bills, insurance premiums, all paid by me every month for 10 months. In 10 months of living together, you've contributed $0 to our shared life while building a savings account and claiming to everyone that you pay your own bills and contribute equally. Maya started crying. I was going to start paying my fair share. I just needed to get completely stable first. While judging your sister for not being stable enough, that's completely different. How? Explain to me how accepting financial support from me for 10 months is different from Emma needing help from family for one emergency. She couldn't, because they weren't different. Maya had been accepting exactly the kind of help she was refusing to give Emma. That evening, Maya's mom called about Emma's situation. Maya was forced to tell her family the truth about our financial arrangement, or at least part of it. You told Emma you couldn't help because you pay your own bills, her mom said on speaker, but Ethan pays all your household expenses. The disappointment in her mother's voice was crushing. It's complicated, Mom. Ethan and I have a partnership. What kind of partnership involves you judging Emma for needing the same help you're getting? Maya couldn't answer. Over the following week, I watched Maya's carefully constructed image crumble as family members learned the truth about her living situation. Her uncle Carlos was disgusted. You wouldn't help Emma with $800 while living rent-free. That's cold, Maya. Her Aunt Rosa was confused. I thought you were doing so well financially. Your mom's been bragging about how independent you've become. Maya tried to salvage things by offering to start paying half of everything going forward. When I calculated $1,100 per month for utilities, groceries, property taxes, insurance, and household expenses, her face went pale. I can't afford that much. That's more than I make after taxes. Then you can't afford to claim financial independence, I said. And you definitely can't afford to judge Emma for needing help. The relationship ended not because Maya couldn't pay her share, but because I finally understood the difference between supporting someone's growth and enabling their deception. Maya had been using my financial support to build savings while performing independence for social media and family. When her own sister needed help, Maya chose to protect her fake image rather than help family. Maya moved out the following weekend, forced to find a roommate situation she could actually afford. Emma got her car fixed with help from Uncle Carlos, who was so disgusted by Maya's behavior that he made sure everyone in the family knew the real story. Maya's social media went quiet about financial topics. The Independence posts stopped. Her Instagram stories shifted back to her small apartment instead of my house. I learned something crucial about myself through this experience. I'm generous to a fault, especially with people I care about. I want to help others succeed and build their dreams, but there's a critical difference between supporting someone's genuine growth and enabling them to fake success while they judge others. Real support builds someone up to become authentically independent. Enabling someone to perform independence they haven't earned while they criticize family for needing help isn't love, it's just funding someone's ego at the expense of their integrity. I'm still generous with people I care about. But now, I understand that true generosity helps people grow, not just helps them pretend to be something they're not. The right person will appreciate support while acknowledging it. They won't take credit for independence they don't have while refusing to extend the same grace to struggling family members. Maya taught me that lesson the hard way, but it was a lesson worth learning. Emma, by the way, is thriving. She paid Uncle Carlos back in 6 weeks, got a raise at the dental office, and is saving for a more reliable car. She's building real independence through hard work and family support when needed. Maya's still figuring out what real independence costs. I hope she learns the difference between earning something and performing it. Have you ever realized you were enabling someone while they judged others for needing the same help? What's the difference between supporting someone's growth and funding their fake image? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and if you want to hear more stories about healthy boundaries in relationships, hit that subscribe button. What's the most eye-opening moment you've had about someone you were trying to help? Let me know in the comments.